So, video going out to my fellow, the person who I like to refer to as my fellow partner in what the fuck rip-off crime, TheHumanHighlander. Made a video yesterday, or I guess it was 2 days ago by this point, in which she tagged a few people, me being one of them, which was unfortunate because, I mean, I just really had no taste for those questions, so I'm not going to do the tag. I found the questions just to be the most inane thing ever. And he agreed with me. And, you know, I've been tagged about 3 times in the last week, so just to the other 2 people that tagged me, yeah, sorry, really polite invitations, I appreciate it, you guys are nice, but yeah, I have contempt for the entire tag game, so I'm not going to do it. But what I will do in the case of the Highlander is, well, I'll ask him some questions of my own, because, you know, for over a week, I guess, you know, the last couple of weeks, he's made videos in which he's made some remarks that I've just been flabbergasted by. And we can just do this in text in each other's channels, you know, discuss it out. But I think it'll be good for his. I don't think he's ever, you know, specified these things out as to how he reconciles certain beliefs that he has, given his. Well, I'll just get into it with the questions themselves. So without further ado, question number 1. You did the video after Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize, in which towards the end you said that Republicans and Democrats are identical. They're pretty much 2 sides of the same coin. Now, obviously there's corruption both sides, but we really need to make the you know, realize the fact that there's a huge difference in the varieties of corruptions. One is religious fanaticism, and the other is a bunch of people who've been persuaded to be sold out to the fucking unions. Okay, and I think one is a lot less dangerous than the other. You know, the one with the less religious fanaticism. But, you know, the reason he thinks that it's really all the same is because, and I guess this is something that we've argued before, but we didn't really argue it to the bone, and we really should have. Because he believes the richest people in the world are really well organized, and due to that organization, they have so much control over the political process. I don't think they're nearly as organized as he says, you know, they are. You know, neither one of us really has concrete evidence to back up our claims. I think the onus is on him to prove the positive, but whatever. It's really a non sequitur as far as my question goes. My question is, if you believe that these 2 parties are equally corrupt, and certainly, you know, we are pretty much controlled by the richest people, how do you reconcile supporting these mini Mickey Mouse solutions that you know, I support and that I even endorse in my videos? You know, stuff like instant runoff voting, you know, getting a real representative democracy, getting rid of the geographic bias in the voting district, even my little idea about voters having to qualify their votes with some sort of, at least a little tiny demonstrated knowledge. It doesn't have to be a huge knowledge base, but just something that can, well, you know, that person is not only voting based on the fact that he has a, you know, pulse. No, there's actually some, you know, he's not a functional retard. You know, the TheHumanHighlander has endorsed all these things that I've talked about and that Mendham's talked about, all these ways in which we can improve, you know, democracy. But to me, it just seems like if I were to believe that the richest people in the world have all this control because they're so well organized, to me this entire solution thing would seem just like such a wild goose chase. Because the only way to get rid of a problem such as this organization of the wealthiest people in the world who can do anything they want is not to, you know, work, you know, kick the leg of the monster. No, it's to go up and cut the fucking head of the monster, because that's the only way you're going to do it. So operating under the premise, I'm just trying to put myself in his mind frame. I would not endorse any of these solutions. You know, the representative democracy sort of stuff, and I would see no value in breaking the 2-party system, and I think he does. So that's just going to be my question. Do you see value in breaking the 2-party system? Is, you know, Ralph Nader being voted in any different than what's his name? Let's see, who's a crazy Mitt Romney? You know, Dennis Kucinich or Sarah Palin? Is there really any difference here, or is it all going to be the same no matter who's in office? It's just something that I've always had on my mind as far as what truthers think. because I don't think I think most truthers do think that it would be completely irrelevant. You know, no matter how religious and insane the opposing side is, it's going to be equally corruptive, just because of this, you know, baggage at the top by the elites who are, you know, according to them, organized. But anyway, moving on. Second thing is, my question is, do you think that belief in God is good, bad, or indifferent? Now, of course, the most common answer to this that we see is, well, it's all, you know, all depends on the circumstance, on the person. But I'm asking it in the sense of, is the results, the overall results, belief in God has brought throughout human civilization, has that had a, you know, is that something that we need to demonize, glorify, or just say whatever to belief in God? Because recent videos and, you know, this is kind of the stuff that he's endorsed, you know, the sort of the ladder to the belief in God would lead me to be uncertain of that, of where he stands on that. So yeah, just something that I'd like to see answered. And yeah, you know, if you want to do an answer where you think it's all three, that's fine too, but yeah, something concrete would be, because yeah, my jaw dropped after I saw him endorse some of the videos that he did. Anyway, thirdly, is the substance of maturity composed of not using foul language, or is there something deeper to maturity? Is it just the way you treat people you disagree with, or does it have to do with something that's a lot more three-dimensional than the manner in which you argue? Because once again, you know, David endorsed a video which stated the contrary, which had a very superficial view of maturity. And, you know, he endorsed it, and he didn't even leave a comment saying, well, okay, good video, but I disagree with that. So I just find it so difficult to believe that he would fall for this sort of thing, because, I mean, he's a fan of, to an extent, he's a fan of Carlin, Hicks, all these kinds of guys who are really, it's not just a part of their gig, they really do bleed this sort of, they did bleed while they were alive, this sort of fuck you if you disagree for stupid reasons. You know, of course they did it with a nice song and dance to it, and, you know, in a more presentable way and, you know, more charismatic way, so I guess they get a free pass to a lot of people. And it's just so frustrating that, you know, if you do it in a straightforward sort of way, you're seen as being immature, but if you do it in a way which might be construed as entertainment, well then yeah, you're just, even though you believe it, but under the guise of entertainment, you are simply, you know, you're an icon. So it's bullshit. So I just want to know where the Human Highlander stands on that, if he's going to endorse videos stating that it is clearly a sign of you know, immaturity. Thirdly, and this is something I tried to point out to him in the comment section yesterday, is it illogical to believe that a DNA molecule has the capacity to, through a crude force, complexify to the point where it gains sentience that's conducive to its survival? Do we need some additional baggage to believe that mechanism can take place through a crude force, that mechanism of complexity through billions of fucking years? Okay? Can that happen through a naturalistic process, or is there something else that's necessary to the to that component of complexity? Because again, he's endorsing videos that are saying yes, it is necessary, and I guess he said that he doesn't really understand what the videos are driving, you know, the points that the videos are driving towards. But I've laid it out pretty simply right now, so I think yes, he will be able to understand. It's a yes or no fucking question. And speaking of the comment section we had, I'll just ask him, you know, he also endorsed the video that accused me of yesterday when I was just arguing these things with him. I was just arguing, you know, trying to persuade him that maybe, I was just trying to get him to answer the damn question. And I was accused of trying to get him to ostracize certain people that he associates with. So he endorsed that video and that accusation, and I just want to know, is this something he believes, despite the fact that I ended my comment section with him clearly telling him that I know that him and I are on YouTube for entirely different reasons, and that I wouldn't dream of trying to tell him who to associate with. No, all I want to do is just have some discussions with him about what exactly it is that he believes, because I'm curious. And also in that video, you know, I was accused of living in a fantasy island, considering the way I described a certain exchange I had with another user. And again, he's just endorsing this video. So is that also what you believe, David? Do you think that my description of the events, is there a reasonable conclusion that can be drawn by that I live in a fantasy island? And also, do you also agree with something that was mentioned in that video? Do you agree that if Gary had been born with the Y chromosome only, that he would have been committed into an insane asylum just for ranting at people in, you know, every other YouTube video that he makes? You know, these are all heavy accusations that have been made towards us, and you've endorsed the video, and I didn't see a comment contending any, you know, the least bit of it.